Ethan Moore hadn't visited his ex-wife's grave in years. The billionaire businessman, once known for his charm and success, now stood alone in the quiet cemetery, clutching a bouquet of white lilies, the only flowers she ever loved. Guilt weighed on him heavier than the autumn air. He'd been too busy chasing wealth to notice when love had slipped through his fingers. But as he approached her tombstone, he froze. Two little girls, no older than 8 or 9, were kneeling by the grave, their small shoulders shaking as they cried. They had placed a single handmade card on the marble, "We miss you, Mommy." Ethan's heart pounded. Mommy? His ex-wife, Clara, had no children when she died, or so he thought. He stepped closer, his voice trembling. "Hey, sweetheart, who are you visiting?" One of the girls looked up, wiping her tears. Her eyes, deep blue, just like Clara's, met his. "Our mommy," she whispered. "She told us if we ever miss her, we can come here. But, we never met our dad." Ethan's world tilted. "Your dad?" he stammered. The other girl nodded shyly. "Mom said he's kind, just lost." Ethan's knees weakened. He dropped the lilies, tears flooding his vision. Could it be? Could Clara have kept this from him? As the wind rustled through the trees, Ethan realized the truth was about to unravel, and his life would never be the same again. Ethan knelt beside the girls, his trembling hands unsure whether to reach out or stay frozen in disbelief. The younger one held a worn-out teddy bear, the other clutched a small tin box decorated with faded stickers. "What's your name, sweetheart?" he asked gently. "I'm Lily," said the older girl. "And she's Emma. Mommy told us, if anything ever happens to her, we'd find answers in here." She opened the tin box carefully and pulled out several folded letters. The top one was addressed to Ethan Moore. His heart nearly stopped. He recognized Clara's handwriting instantly, elegant and steady, the same way she used to sign birthday cards before their divorce. With shaking fingers, Ethan unfolded the letter. "If you're reading this, Ethan, it means I didn't get the chance to tell you the truth. After we separated, I discovered I was pregnant. I tried to reach you, but you'd changed everything, your number, your address, even your world. I didn't want our girls to grow up feeling unwanted, so I raised them quietly, with the stories of the good man I once loved." Ethan's throat tightened as tears blurred his vision. He had been so consumed by success that he'd shut everyone out, including the woman who once held his heart. He looked at the girls again. "She told you, about me?" Lily nodded softly. "She said you were kind. Just, lost. But that one day, we'd find you, and you'd remember what love feels like." Ethan felt something shift inside him, something long buried under years of regret. He realized this meeting wasn't coincidence. It was Clara's final gift, an invitation to be the father he'd never been. He took their hands gently. "Let's go home," he whispered. Ethan's mansion had always been silent, sterile white walls, perfect furniture, and not a trace of laughter. But when Lily and Emma stepped inside, clutching their tiny backpacks, the emptiness felt heavier than ever. They stood in the grand foyer, gazing around wide-eyed. "Do people really live here?" Emma whispered. Ethan forced a smile. "I guess. I do." He hadn't realized how cold his world had become until that moment. His assistant had stocked the guest rooms with toys and clothes overnight, but when the girls saw the rooms, they didn't smile. They stood quietly, uncertain. Lily tugged his sleeve. "Mom said, a home isn't big, it's warm. Can we stay close to you tonight?" Her words cut deeper than any deal he'd ever lost. That night, Ethan found himself on the couch, two little girls curled up beside him, wrapped in a blanket that smelled faintly of vanilla and tears. When Emma fell asleep, Lily whispered, "Mom used to read us stories. Do you know any?" He hesitated. The last story he'd read had been decades ago, to Clara, when they were young and broke and still believed love could fix anything. So, he told them that story, the one about a man who lost everything until kindness found him again. As he spoke, something inside him softened. Their tiny hands in his, their steady breathing beside him, it felt like healing. When the girls finally drifted off, Ethan looked at them and realized the truth Clara had wanted him to see: love wasn't gone. It had just been waiting to come home. And for the first time in years, Ethan smiled, genuinely, quietly, and from the heart. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan's life began to shift in ways he'd never imagined. The once ruthless CEO now woke up early to make pancakes, burned, uneven, and filled with laughter. His office meetings were shorter, his evenings belonged to story time and homework. For the first time in years, he wasn't building empires, he was building memories. One evening, as the girls played with crayons in the living room, Ethan decided to open a box of Clara's old things the lawyer had recently sent. Inside were photos, trinkets, and one last sealed envelope marked, "For Ethan, when you're ready." He hesitated, then unfolded it. "Ethan, if you're reading this, it means you've met our daughters. I know you, and I know the guilt will eat at you if you let it. Don't. You can't change the years we lost, but you can give them the love I always believed you had in you. Teach them kindness, not wealth. Presence, not power. And most of all, forgive yourself." Ethan's tears fell freely. Clara's words were simple but pierced every wall he'd built. He looked over at the girls, their drawings scattered on the floor. One of them was of a family holding hands under a bright yellow sun. Lily looked up and smiled. "Daddy, is Mommy watching us?" Ethan took a deep breath and nodded. "Yes, sweetheart. And I think she's proud of us." That night, he tucked them into bed, kissed their foreheads, and whispered, "Thank you, Clara, for giving me a second chance." Outside, the wind rustled through the trees, soft and warm, as if her spirit lingered there, watching over them. Spring arrived quietly, painting Ethan's garden in soft shades of pink and gold. The house, once cold and empty, now echoed with laughter, music, and the occasional sound of two little girls racing down the hall. Lily and Emma had brought color back into his world, and purpose back into his heart. But Ethan knew he wanted to do more, something that would honor Clara's memory and help others the way she had helped him. So he founded the Clara Foundation for Single Mothers, a program that provided shelter, education, and support for women raising children alone. On the day of the opening, he stood at the podium, the girls beside him, their small hands holding his tightly. "This," he said, his voice trembling, "is for the woman who taught me that love isn't measured by what we have, but by what we give." The crowd applauded, but Ethan only saw Clara's face in his mind, smiling softly, like she used to when he finally did something right. Later that evening, he took Lily and Emma back to Clara's grave. They placed fresh lilies on the stone, and Lily whispered, "Mom, Daddy made something beautiful for you." Ethan looked at the sky, glowing orange with sunset, and felt a quiet peace wash over him. "Thank you," he murmured. "For showing me what really matters." As the girls hugged him, Ethan finally understood, life's greatest fortune wasn't money, fame, or legacy. It was love freely given, and the second chances that love could bring. And as they walked away, hand in hand, the world didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt full, just as Clara had always wanted it to be.